go to sleep, I go far away. If you forgot your dreams, just remember to love. It's important to remember your dreams.
I got a dream. It was all a dream.
And I woke up.
Yo, what up, what up? AquaStoneThrone, like, share, and subscribe. Yo, this is going to be a short one. And this is going to be about more lines in the face. In this particular line, it's very interesting, okay? So this particular line, if you have this, you are an extremely critical listener. You hear at a much higher frequency than most people hear. Now, when I say higher frequency, I'm not talking about high frequencies. I'm talking about you being able to hear and intelligently understand sound at a much more extreme level than most people can. Okay, so these are the lines. You see this little nipple that we all have right here, right over here. If you got 2 or 3 or 4 little lines, this means that you are a very, very good hearer. And a little something about me, right? If you all should know that I'm a multi-platinum instrumental beat producer, right? And it came with time, right? I put in my 10,000 hours, but I also went to the Institute of Audio Research in New York City to learn. And when I first went and enrolled, you know, they teach you about all of God's language and even the science and the electrical science of creating instruments and computers which allow computers to manipulate sounds. And it's really something that back then I didn't appreciate, but now that I'm older, I have a much better appreciation for the things that I learned at that school, because I learned a lot of cool stuff. And that really doesn't come into play for music at all. But now that I've spiritually grown and I know that music is the language of God, I'm happy that I've learned all of that type of information. But basically, if you have these particular lines right here, these particular lines, if you think about it, right, all these other lines that we get throughout our lifetime and throughout our journey in this dimension are right up on the face, right? But this particular line, it's like all the way on the side. And the reason for this is because it comes, and this activates and comes into play at a very young age, within the first 7 years of your life. And the truth behind these, I have these actually. Everyone that has these has actually had a traumatic upbringing to some extent. Maybe it was a school teacher that yelled a lot, that picked on you. Maybe it was your parents that constantly got into arguments. Maybe it was just a whole, whatever traumatic experience you could possibly think of. Maybe your mom wasn't the best mom, or maybe your father hit you, or maybe your father would come home drunk and then wail out on your mom, and you just stay in like your bedroom and just listen to everything. This is what these lines are actually a side of. It's being able to hear at a heightened ability. And what I mean by this is these come into something that's actually very connected to music, right? So a mixing engineer is somebody that, if, like, let's just say I create some classic shit and then I get a rapper to rap on it, and then I mix every sound. So let's just say the song, the beat itself has 30 different sounds that have compiled together to make the beat, and then there's 5 different tracks that make all the vocals for the artist. And then I would give all of those sounds to a mixing engineer to mix, EQ, compress, and make sure all of those sounds are in perfect unison, and also hitting on every single level from the highs to the lows to make a full sonic piece, a full sonic 2-track to go to both of your ears. Now, these engineers are a great engineer will just listen to like take the time to listen to songs like let's just say like every engineer, when they go into a different studio to mix a record, every different room is different, so the speakers bounce off and have different directional angles and make different studios sound different ways, right? All engineers know this. This is why when you're mixing a record or making a record, the monitors point directly at each of your ears, and it's supposed to go into like a triangle to meet you right here, right? And so that's to get the perfect sonics going directly into your ears. Now, what these really are is they come from very traumatic experiences, but what makes these, it's kind of a superpower in all honesty, these type of lines, because if you're able to, if you're not really completely screwed up from the trauma of your early lifetime, they actually allow you to understand people at a much higher frequency and a much higher level of knowing where they're coming from and their emotional centers are coming from by listening of the tones of the voice. So if I say listen to the tones of the voice, you could tell that I got a little bit more fire in me this morning. You know, I'm a little bit more, maybe I just read something or saw something that maybe got me a little worked up. And so this is like that, or if you hear somebody that is like got a little pain in their voice, and you can really hear the pain in their voice, or maybe they're trying to mask it, and they're not showing it on their face, but maybe their tone is a little bit lower. People with these type of little lines are masters of understanding the emotional state of mind coming from the person you're speaking to, and that's the real truth of these. And like I said, that these little lines only come from a very, very young age. So if you don't have these when you're 30 or 40, you're never gonna get those. They, like I said, they only come from very, very young when we're like, you know, still growing, or when our body is still growing. And so that's just a little something about these. And if you have this awareness and you see this on somebody, and if they're you know, this is only two things that you could basically know, is that they might have had a harder upbringing, and that right there, you know, they're either going to be amazing people that have been able to work past that and forgive whatever has happened in their lifetime, or if they're still struggling throughout life, you'd understand that right there might be a cue of why somebody has a particular issue or a particular addiction, is because when you see this, you could understand that there is some type of trauma in that individual at a young age. And so and it's also interesting to notice is that like all these other lines that we get come from us in our experiences, right? As we grow and we mature and we experience this external life in this external world, all these other lines really hit the front of the face. And it's really fascinating that the lines that form when you're very, very young tend to be in different locations and not directly on the front of the face. I find that to be pretty amazing. So that's just this line right here. I don't know what it's called. I'm just telling you what it means. And I'm hoping that this information can make you a little bit more supreme in this reality. That way you don't get fooled, taken advantage of, and you have more understanding. That way you could be the best version for whoever you're showing up in front of, and whoever is in your mirror, or whoever you're entertaining. You could know a little bit more about them. That way y'all could just syncopate a little bit more and be on the same level. That way that there's no static in between both of your minds. That way, you could hopefully have blissful peace and high octave conversations that are creative. I love you. AquaStoneThrone.